Have you ever been so hurt by someone that you just decided you were done? Done with love, done with relationships, for good. Well, in this explainer, we're diving deep into a story about that exact feeling and what happens when someone new comes along who somehow has a key you thought you'd thrown away forever. So, this is where our story starts. Not with hope, not with a maybe, but with a hard, final decision. This wasn't just a bad mood. This was a core belief, one that was born from some serious pain. The person telling the story was completely convinced that love was just off the table for them, permanently. So how exactly does a person get to that point? Well, that brings us to the first part of this journey, a heart locked away. This is all about the emotional burnout that leads someone to build walls so high they feel untouchable. I mean, this feeling wasn't just sadness. It was this heavy, suffocating weight from a past relationship. A quiet, deep hurt in places they didn't even know could ache. Think about your phone on 1% battery. That was their emotional state. Completely drained, with absolutely zero energy left to even risk falling apart one more time. And this wasn't something that just happened. No, this was a very conscious choice. It was like they walked through their heart and deliberately bolted every single door, every window, making sure nothing and no one could ever get inside again. It was pure self-preservation. And just to seal the deal, they threw away the key. That was it, the final act. There was absolutely no plan to ever reopen. The heart was officially and permanently closed for business. But, life has a funny way of ignoring our best laid plans. In this next part of the story, we're going to see how that carefully built fortress starts to show some cracks, all because someone completely unexpected walks into the picture. And right away, there was this massive gap between what was expected and what actually happened. The thinking was, okay, this is just another person passing through my life, no big deal. But the reality? They became essential. A part of the heart itself. So how on earth did that happen? Well, it wasn't some big dramatic lightning strike. It was more like a slow thaw. It was almost sneaky. First, they just became a normal part of the daily routine. Then they started taking up space in the thoughts. And before the defenses could even sound the alarm, they'd somehow found their way right into the heart. The author puts it so perfectly here. Your presence became comforting, like a quiet warmth that slowly melted the ice built around myself. See, it wasn't some aggressive attempt to knock down the walls. It was just a gentle, consistent warmth that, over time, changed everything. But healing is never that simple, right? It's not a straight line. Just as these genuine feelings started to grow, so did the fear. This next section is all about that intense internal fight, when the pain from your past goes to war with the hope in your present. And this is so important to understand. When they pulled away, it wasn't a game, it wasn't about playing hard to get or creating some kind of mystery. The silence, the distance, those were shields, an instinctive defense mechanism from a heart that was just plain terrified of being broken again. And there were three very specific fears fueling this retreat. First, the fear of actually loving someone again. Then, the fear of losing that person. And maybe the biggest one of all, the absolute terror of history repeating itself. But it's this struggle, this fight, that led to the story's biggest breakthrough. Because this new person didn't just get through the walls, they ended up completely rewriting the definition of love itself. Look at this transformation. Before, love was seen as something, kind of shallow. Just being together, laughing, a nice feeling. But now, it's understood as unwavering trust. It's supporting each other through every single challenge. It's not just a feeling, it's a constant, loyal presence. It's the difference between a pretty picture and a lifelong commitment. And this, right here, is the core lesson. Maybe past relationships were all about chasing this impossible idea of perfection, but this new love taught something profound. What really matters is just being there, consistently, reliably. Presence, not perfection. Okay, so with this brand new understanding of love, our story moves into its final, most powerful phase, an all-in, no-holds-barred, unconditional commitment to a boundless future. Even the love itself evolved. The feeling at the beginning was real, sure, but it was maybe a bit lighter, more fragile. Now, it has grown into something so much deeper, so much stronger. It's a love that's been tested by fear and came out on the other side totally invincible. This newfound capacity for love, it's boundless. There's no limit, no point where the love or the patience runs out. It's infinite. It's a complete 180 from that lockdown heart where we started this whole story. And these are just pretty words. These are deep, powerful vows. This is the kind of love that leads to real sacrifice, the willingness to protect, to defend, and even to put someone else's happiness before your own. I mean, that is the true depth of this transformation. And here it is, the final declaration. All the fear, the shields, the hesitation, it's all gone. And in its place is this clear, confident desire for everything a future can hold. It's a full, unconditional yes to this love, with zero reservations. This whole journey from a heart that was completely locked down to a love that is absolutely boundless, it really leaves us with a powerful question for ourselves. It's a reminder that sometimes the very walls we build to protect ourselves might be the same walls keeping out our greatest joy. So it's worth asking, what walls have you built that might be worth tearing down?